Coming up, 2 men arrested after reports of shots fired in South Fargo. A 4-year-old boy is dead after a rollover accident involving an ATV. And a new push to help women receive child support even before their children are born. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Tom Tucker. We begin with a look at tonight's headlines, then a one-on-one conversation about what is described as an unprecedented and intense study of the wild turkey population in North Dakota. But first tonight, 2 men are under arrest after Fargo police responded to a report of shots fired. An argument between several people at an apartment complex on 42nd Street South ended up outside, where someone started shooting a pellet rifle into the air. We're told another person grabbed the rifle and fired at 2 people. No one was injured, but 2 men now face charges of terrorizing and reckless endangerment. The men arrested are identified as 25-year-old Diraj Monger and 23-year-old Mon Galay. A missing teenager with special needs has been found safe. 18-year-old Haley Sullivan left her family campground at Grand Forks Air Force Base late Monday or early Tuesday. She was found yesterday afternoon after 2 farmers spotted her near Gilby, about 17 miles away from the base campground. Authorities believe she walked the entire distance. A Bismarck woman is under arrest after police report finding drugs and cash hidden inside a fake Bible. The woman arrested is identified as Chelsea Alive. She was already on probation for child neglect and drug charges. In a search of her apartment on Monday, police say they found a stash of more than 1,500 fentanyl pills, 2 handguns, and more than $24,000 in cash. U.S. Senator John Hoeven says he's in talks with a federal agency on the need to get rail shipments back on track.
We continue working with the Surface Transportation Board and the railroads to get shipments to a current basis, not only for our ag shippers, but other shippers as well.
Hoeven says one of the biggest sticking points with rail transportation appears to be hiring and labor challenges. Hoeven says the issue needs to be solved before the fall harvest, and if not, he says the impacts could be felt across the country. North Dakota's other U.S. Senator Kevin Cramer has introduced the Unborn Child Support Act. He is one of 11 Republicans behind the act, which would allow mothers to receive child support payments while they're pregnant. The act would also require judges to consult with mothers on payment plans and would give mothers discretion as to whether or not they want paternity tests to be performed. Since last year, gas prices in North Dakota have increased 55%. That's according to the route planning app Routific.com. They analyzed data from AAA to see how gas prices have changed in every state over the past year. In North Dakota, regular gas is up $1.64 per gallon. Diesel has increased by $2.40 a gallon. In Minnesota, a 4-year-old boy is dead after an ATV crash in Morrison County. It happened Tuesday afternoon just before 5 o'clock. Police say the child was driving the ATV when he lost control on a gravel road, ejecting the child. A 6-year-old passenger was on the ATV at the time, but jumped off before the vehicle rolled. Minnesota's Senate Majority Leader is being credited with saving a man's life. Over the weekend, Jeremy Miller was fishing at Lake Winona when he noticed a canoe had capsized more than 100 feet from the shore. Miller says he saw 2 people in the water and one was struggling. The senator immediately swam out to rescue the man and successfully swam him back to the shore. Winona Police Chief Tom Williams calls it an heroic act. The University of Minnesota is adding more officers to make the campus area safer. The school yesterday updated its Gopher safety plan. The hope is to hire 10 new community service officers and eventually add more university police officers. The new hires come as crime is up 45% at the university. And a Powerball player who purchased a ticket in Moorhead is $50,000 richer. The winning ticket was purchased at Hornbacher's in Moorhead for last night's drawing. The winning Powerball numbers from last night are 22, 23, 36, 47, 63, and a Powerball of 2. If you haven't done so already, please take a moment to hit the bell button below and the subscribe button to support our efforts here at the Nightly Review. We aim to make it the best source for news and information for all that is happening in the FM Metro. Rain off and on across the region when it comes to our weather tonight. When will the sun return? Meteorologist Justin Storm is in the Skywatch Weather Center with a look at tonight's forecast.
Thanks, Tom. As we head through the remainder of this evening into tonight, before 2 a.m., there will be a slight chance for a few scattered thunderstorms, of which one or two could be strong to severe, with the main concern just being damaging wind. After 2 a.m. tonight, just a slight chance for a couple of thunder showers. Temperatures dip to the mid-60s with light wind out of the north around 5 to 15 miles per hour, and we'll hang on to a subtle light breeze on Friday. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy, highs in the upper 80s near 90, and much the same for Saturday. Humid, upper 80s near 90, light wind, although again there will be a slight chance for a few spotty showers or thunder showers throughout the day.
It could happen to you or someone you love. One moment, one diagnosis can change everything. Thankfully, there's a program that helps caring people uplift families through a crisis. Lend a Hand Up, raising financial help and hope through community benefits and online campaigns. A program that boosts generosity so gifts go further. Lend a Hand Up helps you help your neighbors. Learn more and give at lendahandup.org.
Welcome back to the Nightly Review. A bit of a detour tonight when it comes to the focus of the one-on-one conversation. The topic is North Dakota's wild turkey population. Scientists are about to embark on what they're calling an unprecedented and intense study of the birds. Clayton Lenk is a district biologist for the National Wild Turkey Foundation. He joined me and first talked about how and why they're doing the study.
Sure. So this study is actually one of the first of its kind in North Dakota. This specific study is going to be looking at different things, turkey movement from being translocated, survival, kind of lifespan type things, kind of just general information that we don't quite know in North Dakota. There's projects like this happening, a lot throughout the Southeast and stuff like that, but nothing really North Dakota specific. So it'll give us a good understanding of how to better manage the resource.
Lenk commented on why the study is happening now.
So for several years, there's just kind of been a lull, I think, across the country as far as research goes, with maybe a few minor exceptions. But with recent turkey population declines across a lot of kind of the Midwest and some other states as well out west, there's been a growing interest on why that's happening, and there's a lot of speculation and a lot of potential problems that it could be. But this was just a good segue to get kind of research up and going again across the country for wild turkeys. And so NWTF this year put out a promotional type deal for research for state agencies or universities or whomever might be conducting the research, and it was just a good kind of segue. Not that population declines are a good thing, but it brings future answers and helps kind of kickstart things like this, like research projects, and helps us better understand some of the things we maybe thought we knew, or help us to better understand the things that we don't know yet.
Lenk talked about the changing wild turkey population, not only across North Dakota, but also the upper Midwest.
Sure. So I cover Minnesota, Wisconsin, and both of the Dakotas. North Dakota specifically, it's kind of broken up, kind of East River and West River. West River, things are doing good. I would say the habitat is doing good, and the populations are probably on a slight upward trend in West River. East River, not as much, between habitat and habitat is the main one. There's not as much habitat for wild turkeys in the east. So that mixed with, weather and all sorts of different factors. East River, it's on a kind of a stable / declining trend. Probably nothing of great concern right now, not like, Missouri or Kansas or some of those other states that have seen quite dramatic decreases. Nothing to cause worry yet in East River, but it's certainly something that they'll probably be looking into in the future.
The North Dakota Game and Fish Department often receives calls from ranchers and farmers regarding the nuisance caused by wild turkeys to their operations. I asked Lenk to elaborate on that.
Sure. So the game and fish get several calls, typically in the wintertime, when flocks are, kind of bunched up, and those producers out, especially out in the West River part of the state, the feedlot type areas, they'll see large numbers of turkeys, kind of maybe causing a little bit of damage just because of the high numbers of them, or they're, eating some of the resource that they have out there for their livestock or whatever, causing some sort of problem. And it's kind of up to Game and Fish to move those birds. And this study, along with UND, Dr. Faligi, kind of came to NWTF last summer to just kind of pitch the idea of this project to our state board. And we've been on board since then. And so the project itself will actually be looking at those translocated birds and figuring out if where they're putting the birds on the landscape, how long those birds are living, if kind of not knowing the territory helps, or I should say not helps, leads to sooner predation than it would have been, if there's how much traveling they're doing once they've been translocated to help kind of figure out what their landscape looks like and how tight of a space they stay in once they've been translocated. Those are the types of things that they just don't know. So it's really also to get a better idea of what's happening to the birds after they move. Is it doing any good moving them from point A to point B? Is the point B, are they thriving and kind of, furthering that population there, or are they going out on the landscape and having high mortality after a week? Those are the types of things that they don't quite know, and those are the answers that we're hoping to answer.
I'd like to thank Clayton Lenk, the district biologist for the National Wild Turkey Foundation, for joining me for tonight's one-on-one conversation. The study begins this winter and is expected to run for 2 years. They'll focus on turkey survival, movement, and reproduction. Well, that will do it for this Thursday night, July 14th, 2022. I'm Tom Tucker. Thanks for watching the Nightly Review.